Inspirational Creatives, episode 152. Welcome to Inspirational Creatives. I'm your host, Rob Lawrence. Join me every Friday as I chat with successful artists, producers, and creative entrepreneurs who share powerful stories and strategies. They can help you to create the life that you want. Listen each week as these inspirational creatives show you how to take your creativity to the next level. You'll learn how to create a sustainable business that inspires others and gives you the financial freedom and lifestyle that you want. Thanks for listening. Make sure you sign up at inspirationalcreatives.com to get free exclusive bonus material. And now, on with the show. Rob here, and welcome to another short action episode of Inspirational Creatives. In episode 151, I spoke with musician and entrepreneur Steve Palfreyman, where we discussed the thinking behind his new free online virtual summit for musicians, as well as why he's fallen in love with his audience and community again. In this short action episode, I want to share with you how Steve takes action on his new ideas and why you only need one person to validate a new idea, business, or movement. In this episode, you'll hear why Steve wishes he got started earlier and why getting started on a new project or idea, no matter what, can be a valuable exercise towards achieving the life you want to live. In episode 151, Steve shared with me that when launching his new music hub, one of his biggest initial challenges was to reach a community of 100 to 200 people. He also shared that although it's worthwhile having huge goals, having reasonable expectations can be a good thing too.
I decided that early on, I didn't put amazing stakes on this. To me, if nothing grew, I wasn't going to care. I was still going to care about the people in there, but I wasn't going to beat myself up if I got to 100 and it stayed at 100 for a while. And it was slow for a bit there, that 100 to 150 people in the group. And I knew that was going to be the hard point. I knew getting to that 200 was actually probably the hardest bit. And now it's just got some steam. So I knew if it just did stop, that it wasn't going to be a problem. I wasn't going to go, right, that means I stop. I'm still going to keep going all in until I find a way that I do find something that does connect. I'm just so over the moon that I've found something that's connected faster than I expected. It caught me off guard. So now I feel like I'm winning far more than what I was expecting to be winning at this point. And that's just by having huge goals, but very, very reasonable expectations.
Having huge goals, but very reasonable expectations can be a very good thing. This is because it means you at least take action to see what effect your new ideas have on the world. What was important for Steve was finding a way to deeply connect with his community no matter what. What was perhaps less important for Steve was exactly how he was going to connect with them, as long as it felt authentic to him. Steve reminds us that when getting started on an idea, taking action is sometimes more important than the outcome, particularly when you're starting out in a new area with a business or a creative endeavor.
For anybody listening who's maybe stalled on something for any period of time because of what that outcome might be, just assume there is no outcome and get started anyway.
Steve reminds us to put less pressure on ourselves when having large expectations testing out new ideas. Being ambitious is great, but that can sometimes be the very thing that immobilizes us. If you find yourself getting stalled on any particular idea or project that you've been attempting to pursue for some time, Steve suggests that you proceed assuming that there will be no outcome anyway. Getting launched or started on a new idea is more important, which is why it can make sense to have reasonable expectations. Now, you might want to put some parameters around the amount of hours or resources you're willing to invest pursuing a new idea, but I think what Steve is really sharing with us is that unless you take action, you'll never know what the outcome might be. You also don't know who your new idea might resonate with, and you can only find out by taking action.
Even if you get 3 people in that group and they're having a good time, then what you're doing is worth it. If you're touching one person's life, then you're making a difference. If somebody's all in on you and what you're talking about and you're helping them, then you have a duty of care to find another. There is definitely another person. One person is proof of concept. The first person who bought a VIP pass to me was and that was enough for me to go, right, if one person wants this before I've even given you anything yet, and I haven't even announced the lineup, then that's proof to me that I need to keep going. That's my fuel. That's another log in the fire.
As Steve says, if you're touching one person's life, you're making a difference. One person is proof of concept. This is also great for motivation. For Steve's new summit for musicians, which launches this week, All he needed to prove to himself was that his idea was a worthy one, and that was demonstrated when somebody invested in a VIP ticket. Steve shared that if there is one person interested, there is likely to be more, and if you're touching one person's life, you're already making a difference.
I would just challenge anybody to get out there and get started on that thing that you've been putting off. I wish I started this a year earlier. I had the idea a year earlier.
Steve believes he would have been way ahead with his new community and his new summit if he had got started a year earlier. In my chat with Steve last week, he implied that he had already had the idea a long time ago, and it's taken him this long to get going with it.
I really think I would be well over 1,000 members now if I started when I had the idea, which crushes me a little. But this is great because you can learn from me. If there's something you've been putting off, just do it.
So to learn from Steve, if there's something you've been putting off, if you're still thinking about it, just do it.
There's so much talk out there of success and, hey, I did this cool thing. And that's why I'm really pumped to be here at this stage because I haven't made it yet. You know, this is literally, we're exploring the creative process of putting something else together. And I think that's really important to see because I had this idea from exploring somebody else while they were putting theirs together. And I just think you can get so much from looking inside something as it's going along and knowing that it's not about the end result. It's not about, oh, okay, look at that amazing thing that they did. That's inspiring. I really think the best inspiration comes from, hey, that person is slogging it out because they want to. That's what I would be inspired about.
Steve suggests that it's not always about the end result. One of the really neat things that I see Steve doing is taking action on behalf of his people from a place of passion. Taking action will always reward you with feedback. He isn't waiting until he's figured it all out to involve his community too. Steve is involving his people, his community, and his journey right now as his own journey is unfolding.
I hope if anybody's listening and they're like, damn, I should just get started on this idea that I've had that I was scared about putting out because I didn't know how it was going to go, just do it anyway. Because if it stuffs up, then cool. That's awesome. Break it. Make it stuff up. You're only going to do something else better next time.
The worst that can happen is you're only going to do something better next time. Remember, action leads to feedback, and you only need one person interested in a project or idea to see if it's worth pursuing further. To help you with this, you can download your free action cheat sheet from inspirationalcreatives.com/152. That's the numerical 152. To hear more of my chat with Steve, head on over to inspirationalcreatives.com or your favourite podcast player and look for episode 151 of Inspirational Creatives, where Steve talks to me more about his own journey and where you can get a sneak peek behind the new summit he's launching today, helping musicians to launch their music careers. Good luck taking action today. Let me know how you get on by dropping me an email at robert@inspirationalcreatives.com. Tune in this Friday where I'll be speaking with Founder Magazine creator Nathan Chan. Thanks for listening. Nothing beats the stories and advice of an expert to help you raise your creative game. I would love to know what you thought about today's episode, so don't forget to subscribe in iTunes where you can rate and review the show. If you like this episode, I invite you to share it on Facebook or Twitter with the one person you know who will benefit from the wisdom shared here today. You can find the show notes on inspirationalcreatives.com/podcast. If you have a burning question or a great idea for a guest, head on over to inspirationalcreatives.com/contact, where you can connect with me there.